Hello. Today, we're going to discuss people first employee onboarding. But before we begin, I'll answer the question, who is Skooks? Skooks is a workplace learning and development solution provider with a people first twist. Founded in 2012, we've grown to over 2,000 customers, 20 million learners worldwide through 135 countries, and supporting 29 languages. We're deeply committed to our client success and are founder led. Skooks helps organizations deliver impactful workplace learning experiences that engage learners, empower leaders, develop talent, and tie learning to business results. As we jump into the meat of our presentation, I'm sure we're all very important of how important it is to onboard new employees effectively. A simple Google search will turn up thousands of articles and statistics about new hire turnover. And after spending so many resources to find, attract, and hire the right people, it's imperative that we do our best to make that experience of onboarding smooth, tailored, and engaging. Today, we're going to look at some tools within the Skooks platform that help organizations make that smooth, tailored, and engaging experience for new employees. We'll also look at it to see how leaders at any level can easily check on their team's status and also explore tools that help learning leaders set up their desired onboarding plan and gain insights into the impact learning programs have on the overall business. In short, we'll take a look at this from a learner, a manager, and also an administrator view, coming at this from a fictional company that we call BuyGet. Our learner is Matthew, a new store associate at BuyGet. Here on the login page, Matthew could log in with his username and password. He could sign in using the native apps that are provided, or he could also sign in through single sign-on if that were set up with the organization. Upon logging in, Matthew is taken to his homepage. The homepage is tailored based on who somebody is within the organization. As a new store associate, the first thing he sees right at the top is his new hire onboarding curriculum. However, there might also be other things on this page we call gadgets. So, for example, there might be courses that have been promoted for him based on maybe his role or location in the organization. There might be some announcements that are relevant to him, maybe even a calendar showing upcoming training events. But the main point about this, Matthew sees right here, one button, one click, he can start his training. Now, as Matthew goes into his new hire onboarding curriculum, he can see the layout for his first 4 weeks. He's not overwhelmed with a list of a bunch of different things, but he can see week 1 is what he can start now. He can also see other things that will be unlocked in the future as he gets further along in his onboarding process. We call this a scheduler, where learning leaders can set it up so that people go through training in digestible chunks and aren't overwhelmed with a whole bunch of different things that they have to do. Once Matthew selects the course for week 1, he's delivered a variety of different steps that he has to go through for his first week on the job. He might need to review a code of conduct document. Skooks will automatically track pages viewed and documents like this, and also his total time spent reviewing it. There might be certain videos that he has to watch, maybe an online e-learning course, a SCORM course that he might have to review. There might be an in-class live training component or maybe a virtual component using Zoom or Teams, using some of the integrations that we have with different virtual meeting software. You might also have to go through what we call a video exam, which would deliver him a video with pauses throughout the video, at which point he would go through and have to answer various questions relevant for the materials that he's gone through. Within Skooks, Not only do you support e-learning standards like SCORM and XAPI, but we also have some built-in tools for creating assessments and tests, ranging from true false to multiple choice, multiple response, fill in the blank, even matching question and answer types. And all of these are auto-graded and reportable, just like other e-learning test scores. Now here we can see Matthew is completing an exam where he has some drag and drop components. Once he's done with that, he can submit his answer, and it's been set up so that now, once he's completed his quiz, he can instantly see his score. As Matthew continues on, there might be other aspects of his onboarding process he needs to go through. So as we click into this, there might be various tasks he has to do as within that first week on the job. So here, maybe he has to meet with his team or manager. Maybe he has to get a walkthrough throughout all the store and departments and work areas. Maybe he even has something like a little score scavenger hunt, where there might be some instructions that he goes to, that walk him through the process, what he does for that kind of fun onboarding activity. There could be sign off components where once he's completed these items, he signs off. And then maybe there's even a requirement to go post in a new hire group. Back on the course detail page, Matthew can complete a week 1 poll, which allows him to share feedback on his experience on that first week. And then there might be other components to this as well. As alluded to with the on the job training checklist, Skooks has a variety of different social and engagement tools built in. One of those is groups. Learners can be given access to one or many groups. Groups can be public or locked down to very specific audiences. And they're a great way to encourage social collaboration, sharing experiences, content, posting about yourself, and also, again, really learning together. Maybe Matthew comes in here, looks at some commonly asked questions so he can see things that other people have asked previously and the answers to those. There can be polls and shared resources within these groups. So, a great way to again engage that collaboration and communities of practice and engage that tribal knowledge as well. Once Matthew started completing various things in Skooks, he can always go over to his profile to see what he's done. So he can look back and see badges that he's earned. So maybe there are some new hire badges that he's been awarded for various things or training that he's completed. There can be games to set up with different levels. These can be tailored for different groups or opened up to large audiences. Matthew can also review all his completion certificates. Anything that he's done, he can download and print off if you'd like to post it somewhere. He can also review his credit status. So if there are continuing education requirements for his job, he can always come back here and see how he's progressing through that requirement of completing that training. He could also add his own external certificates or credits for approval from a leader to count towards his credit requirements. Now, perhaps after Matthew's been at the organization for a few months, he wants to go and review some more data on his dashboard. Now, Skooks, here he can see that there are actually scores based on his skill levels related to his job or proficiencies related to his job. Here he can see his current job strength. He can look at a timeline to see how he's progressed, look at specific skills. Further down, he could review things like a job ranking. He can see his compliance score and total number of credits. He can review training information. He could also look at alternative jobs worth considering. So within Skooks, there's the ability to pull in your own proficiencies or pull from a database that we have integrated to Skooks, and those can be tied to jobs in the platform and also to training. So based on all these factors, there can give suggested jobs that an employee might be interested in reviewing, or maybe if they want to make a move and really see a future at the organization. There's also the ability to view perception gaps. So here Matthew can see the scores based on his job related skills that his manager gave him. So that was an 81%. You can also see he actually rated himself quite a bit lower. So there's a perception gap of negative 18% for those assessments. Now, let's say Matthew's curious about one of these other career paths, these jobs. He can go over to the career path area, see his current job strength broken down by skills, but then he can add a new career path to follow. Now, once he adds a career path like a manager, he can review his ranking for that at this point or score, and he can choose to follow that path to get automatic recommendations of training that will help him grow in the skills related to that job he's following. So he can see here it's authentic leadership is a course that would help him grow in a few different skills that he's not very strong in at this time. But then he can scroll down and look through other items as well. So really promoting ongoing growth and development. From a performance standpoint, Matthew can also review his goals. Within Skooks, employees can create their own goals or managers could create goals for them. There are a variety of different types of goals, and as you can see on this page, Matthew can see he's currently at 8%. He could come in and update this as he makes progress towards a goal. He can review the target value and starting value versus his current. These can be tied to categories or pillars. So this is a development focus goal. You can also see a chat with communication and update between him and his manager, Pamela. At the top, he has the ability to review milestones or tasks associated with this goal. He can review any files or documents associated with it, links to maybe other training, maybe like a YouTube video related to it. And then he could even look at specific courses tied to a goal. So a variety of different things that all can be put underneath an overall goal to help ongoing development beyond just the initial onboarding process. So that was an example of a learner view in Skooks, looking at that from Matthew's perspective, our new store associate. Now we're going to take a look at a manager's perspective. And now we've logged in as Pamela. Pamela is a manager at the store that Matthew works at. Here on her homepage, she has other information that's different from an individual contributor. So she can see a quick dashboard of her team to see how they're doing with their completion rates for training and compliance training. She can also look at new employees and see how they're doing, and other employees how they're tracking through curriculums. So you can see here this she selected the new higher onboarding curriculum and this particular her store, so she can see everybody on her team how they're progressing through that. Here Matthew is showing as in progress for week 1 because this is his first week, but we can also see other people as they're progressing through their onboarding experience. Other gadgets that Pamela might have include suggested courses. As a leader, she might have certain training driven by Skooks' adaptive learning and the career paths that we talked about to recommend things that might be of value to her. She can also see latest resources that have been added to the resource library. Other things like most popular resources, poll results, and even games and leaderboards. Now, let's say that Pamela, maybe she doesn't always have a computer. Being at a store, maybe instead she might have an iPad where she wants to do a quick checkup on her team. Here we can take a look at what her perspective might be for using the Skooks mobile app. Here on her home page at the bottom, she can see the Skooks icon, which she can tap on to sign right into Skooks. The Skooks mobile app works on any device, Android or Apple. And here she's looking at it from an iPad. She can log in directly like we just did using username and password or biometric login like Face ID. And she's again taken right to her homepage. Here again, she can see all the gadgets that we looked at earlier, her team's quick dashboard with some key statistics of her team, all these other gadgets about suggested courses and other resources. Over at the top left, she can navigate the navigation panel to go to all the different areas she needs. Or maybe with one tap, she might want to go right into reporting. Here she can see some overall reporting data related to her team. She can drill down to look at individuals and see their status for their training. She could even zoom in on Matthew to see how he's doing in his courses. As she goes back, maybe there's an on-the-job training checklist she needs to review. So she can go into that week 1 development checklist and she can select on Matthew to see the things that he's done. Here, she can confirm that he's done all these different tasks to sign off on the manager or trainer perspective. And then she might even give him an assessment based on his performance level. Maybe he was excellent with one of these tasks. She might put in a comment or even upload an evaluation document. So a variety of different tools right here, easily accessible through the Skooks app. Now that we've taken a look at the manager perspective, we're going to zoom in and look at a few tools that would be relevant for learning leaders or administrators within the Skooks platform. Now that we're logged in as an administrator, you'll notice that we have a few more options from a navigation standpoint. One of the nice things about Skooks is you're not limited to a preset number of roles or number of people. Maybe you're not limited on the number of administrators. You can actually set permissions for any job within the system, which allows you to get very granular with who can see and do what. As an administrator, we're going to go to the admin control panel. And here we're going to zoom in on what's called the onboarding module. Within Skooks, you have the ability of creating what we call onboarding profiles. This allows learning leaders to have a very visual perspective to plan out a strategic onboarding path for every employee. So in this, you can see we have the store associate onboarding plan that's been started but not finished. It's set to be 8 weeks long, and we have the first couple of weeks set up so far, but that's it. One of the nice things about the onboarding profiles is they can be time-based, like number of days or weeks, like we have here, 8 weeks, or they could even be activity-based, based on when somebody completes a task, then the next task would be assigned or made available, suggested to them. In this example, on week 1, a notification goes out welcoming the employee to the organization. So we have a welcome message. After that, there's a course that's assigned to them. Week 2, there's a curriculum. That's the new onboarding curriculum for new hires. Then week 3, we might choose to add additional things. So some of these might be assigned, others might be just more invitations or suggestions, inviting them to enroll in a particular training. As we go in here, maybe active listening is the next step on this following week. And so as this is built out, it eventually will look fully fledged out, similar to this one we see here, that's based on store manager onboarding experiences. So the ability to set up onboarding profiles like this really helps enable that process to welcome people into the organization, set it up so that they're not overwhelmed with all these things coming on week 1, but you can space it out. You can even set up certain things that maybe there are a few weeks where nothing is sent out, and then there's a quick quiz provided. So just different ways to help reinforce that learning that they might learn initially, but also wanting to make sure they retain that over time of their employment in that role. We touched on some reporting tools from a manager perspective, but administrators might have more access to reporting than a manager. So they could be able to view anyone within the organization. There are a variety of different dashboard reports from this Academy control panel. One of those is what's called comparison. This allows leaders to come in and check on status and compare different stores or locations or teams and their completion rates for specific training. So as an example, let's say we look up new employee onboarding that first week. We can click into that and compare different parts of the organization. For example, we might break it out by region, where we can look at even specific states, break it down even to specific stores. So it gives leaders a variety of ways to assess how people are progressing through the different training and what teams might be doing more with the training. Completion data is certainly important, and there are a variety of other reporting tools within Skooks, including an automated report builder, which can schedule reports to go out on a schedule of your choosing. But there's also what we call the business impact module. Business impact allows leaders to actually pull in KPIs from their organization and compare them to training programs within Skooks. So, for example, in this, we have a KPI for turnover, where this organization, by Get, they can see per month what turnover was in 2022. However, they can scroll down and actually choose completion data based on courses or curriculums. So let's say there's a lot of new hire turnover that we're tracking, and last year we rolled out a new hire onboarding curriculum. And as you can see, turnover kind of spiked in the spring, and we rolled out a new curriculum. And after that, the training completion started going up for the new curriculum, and turnover started being impact going down. This KPI data could be added, just one by one, uploading a spreadsheet. It could be integrated with another system. But really, what it allows is it gives learning leaders great insights onto what impact, for positive or negative, training programs might be having on the organization. So, in conclusion, we've taken a look at various tools within Skooks that help with onboarding. We've looked at an employee's perspective, how that experience might be smooth, tailored, and engaging for them, and how they can be supported not only for their initial onboarding, but through the life of their time with the organization. We've looked at how leaders can easily gain the insights they need to check on their team's completion and training status. We've also looked at how learning leaders and administrators can set up onboarding plans and strategically gain insights on the impact of the business that training programs are having. From the entire Skooks team, I'd like to thank you for spending some time with us. We'd love to have conversations with you and see how we could help you really deliver an employee first onboarding experience.